was great speaking to you on the phone. And yeah, I'm glad we could meet face to face.
Thank you, Shahana.
However, face to face we can get under
Yeah,
those
soon,
circumstances.
soon.
Great. So, without further ado, I just wanted to, bring to everyone. I'm also, since this is going to be recorded and, we are going to be broadcasting it on our various channels. We were just really excited to, have you on board with us and to speak with us. It's going to be a 30 to 40 minute freewheeling conversation. And so, without further ado, let's just dive straight in. As India steps into yet another year in a matter of days, right? There's so much that we have to look back on in terms of the strides we have made as a nation and the hopes and dreams that we have for the future. And one cannot think of India without taking into account its very crown, right? The area of Jammu and Kashmir, a region that has gone through unconceivable changes throughout its history and an unprecedented one in the recent past, which was the abrogation of Article 370, which brought on mixed reactions, many of them fueled by ignorance of on-ground realities, and in many ways, that is exactly what the valley, has been to so many Indians as well, right? An enigma, a place of immense violence, loss of life. The news coming out of Kashmir post the abrogation has been so one-sided that Indians have little or no idea of the real picture of what's going on and the ongoing situation. So, in the light of this and so much more, we at the Usanas Foundation are so honored to be joined by Dr. Hina Shafi Bhat, a member of the BJP, and the vice chairman of the Khadi Village Industries Board, the KVIB. She is also a dentist by qualification and a social activist. So, Hina ji, we are so delighted to have you here. Your journey and your work has been so inspirational. While I was researching, I got to see so much, and we would really love to talk to you about that as well in this conversation. But before that, I think we should dive straight into the areas of interest and curiosity for most of our countrymen and women with regards to Kashmir and how things are shaping up. So my first question to you is, the valley has been dominated by, well, two or three families per se. It's almost been like a fiefdom of sorts, and which has been counterproductive in terms of development and the control of militancy. So, how does your party, the BJP, and the younger upcoming Turks like yourself hope to push for change?
Shana, I believe the wind of change came in 2013 when Bharatiya Janata Party decided to contest in Jammu and Kashmir. The wind of change began from there when there were candidates who got into who contested and participated in the national level democracy. If we have seen parties like Congress, which is a national level party, I have not seen candidates for them more than 4 or 5. And for Bharatiya Janata Party, so-called untouchable party, we had 14 candidates from Srinagar. We have candidates all over Jammu and Kashmir. And I always say it was the takeoff. We could take off and we formed the government. We took off without runway. We didn't have that much cadre here. I was the first Muslim woman to join BJP and without knowing where we're going to land. But people like me, we were looking forward for a new Kashmir. We have a dream of a new Kashmir, better Kashmir. And that was a step, that was an ice-breaking situation. What people like me who are in BJP took this flag, and we see a great, tremendous change in Jammu and Kashmir.
Great. Thank you so much for that. I think that also instills so much hope, for the rest of us who are sort of residing in other parts of the country and have, looked at the abrogation with mixed reactions, with mixed views. There's not been any real, news coming out of there in terms of what is going on? We only hear like one very lopsided version of things. I, for one, don't really take it that seriously because, being from a place like, or an organization like Usanas, where we are used to looking at everything from a more bird's eye view, we don't seem to be seeing the other side at all. We don't seem to be seeing the side that you are talking about, right?
Yeah.
So, there was, of course, the very, very unfortunate and heinous murders of three BJP workers in South Kashmir. When I look at almost think of them as I don't like to use the word martyrs, but it was definitely three people who were working so hard to bring about that change, right? And belonging to a national party, belonging to a party that wants to establish itself in one of the most contentious regions of our nation. So that those particular murders, really, really shook the country. And so my question to somebody from an upcoming, not an up, definitely a party that is at the forefront of this change in the valley. How is the BJP preparing itself to rise as a formidable force in Kashmir?
You know, it has not been easy for any political party in Jammu and Kashmir to go with a democracy. There have been forces, there have been mindsets. Particularly, I can say, like, we have never got a right leader who can guide people in Jammu and Kashmir what they want. If I see today the elections going on, the number of, the turnout vote percentage has tremendously changed and shown people what they want. The previous political parties, they had the dual kind of a nature. They would speak something in Delhi, take all the benefits and perks from Delhi, and then speak a different language in Jammu and Kashmir. So they have been keeping Jammu and Kashmir people in a chaos, in a confusion. What actually we are looking forward. Nobody wants to go with Pakistan. If you go and meet out youth, nobody wants to join them. We have only increased graveyards. We have got orphanages. We have not got anything. Our economy is zero. The infrastructure, the hospitals, the education system. Hardly, Shana, it's surprising and unfortunate that it has been just 4 to 5 years that Jammu and Kashmir has got signal, traffic signal, and people are still confused on red or green, they have to move or stop. This is the development what previous governments have given. Traffic signal is no big deal. Article 370, post Article 370, the brilliant change, what every Kashmiri knows is that there was no casualty. There was no killing. What people had created in minds of Kashmiris, that there will be killings, thousands of will come on road. The way government, the way administration handle it, it is absolutely wonderful. They thought about the lives of Kashmiri. They're not thinking about the land of Kashmir. Here, youth, you will see like a lot of changes are happening. Though, I would say like Article 370 removal was like quick, decisive, effective decision, which was needed for a very long time in Jammu and Kashmir. And people who are cribbing about the loss, they're not cribbing about the Article 370 or what Kashmiris think, the embedded sentiment, what Kashmiris have or had. They had their own motive, they had their own personal reasons to shield it. Article 370 was just the shell left out. And these were the people who had already abrogated it. Kashmiri people here are so innocent. They were not even aware what Article 370 is. They must not be even aware what ASPA is, what autonomy is, but they've been just putting a lid by saying we are here to save Article 370 autonomy. We're going to bring. Why not 60 years? They could do something about Article 370. Why 60 years they could not do something about autonomy? Why nothing about the youth of Kashmiri who was getting killed every time? It is I would say, like it was a war zone. It was the turmoil state. And killings were happening as if everybody was going to buy a grocery every day. So this has stopped. I can see the change. I think within the hearts of Kashmiris, they see a change. What was Kashmir was deprived from 60 years. People are getting to know there are so many things which were never brought to Kashmir. Funds were more than any other state. Funds were given to Jammu and Kashmir. Either they would go in their pocket or they would go lapse and go back. And we still have that same road, same hospital, no ventilators, no school facilities. We don't need to, talk about something extra. The basic necessities, the basic facilities, the peace was snatched. And this government is only bringing peace first, which is very important to survive, which is very important for the development. If people are not peaceful, if people are not alive, what do we need infrastructure for? So this aggressive step was very much needed.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so great to hear, from someone like you who, I mean, the usual criticism that is there, is saying that, the people of Kashmir have been denied basic rights post the abrogation. This is something that is anti-Muslim. It's something that is, anti-human rights, for example. So I think it is absolutely amazing that somebody like you, who is a Muslim woman, for the BJP, you are here saying that no, this is, something that was absolutely necessary for sort of getting these very, very basic rights for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. My next question, I think, is something that I'm sure a lot of people want to know. In the last year, right, since the abrogation, what progress has been made? What do we see, coming from? What kind of news can we expect to come from the valley in terms of the progress that's been made? Also, the fact that things like how what are the basic priority areas for the BJP in the valley, for and what has been there for the last year or so, and with in terms of like immediate priorities, intermediate, long term. So could you shed some light on that, please?
The best thing, what I can see in the present scenario, is the transparency, is the tightened control on corruption. It is the 170 central laws which are applicable for Jammu and Kashmir, which were never there before. We have a direct impact on large part of the marginalized communities. The discrimination against Gorkhas, Dalits, Valmikis, and the LGBT community is now illegal in Jammu and Kashmir, just as it is in other parts of the nation. We have increase in minority scholarship by almost 250%. Over 20,000 refugees from Pakistan, West Pakistan, have been granted domicile, citizenship, financial assistance. Nearly 10,000 sanitation workers also have access to same rights and privileges. We were carrying, and we're still carrying, the baggage of a corrupt political legacy, where 70 years of loot. This is the beginning, Shana. What we are looking at, until and unless we don't have transparency, we don't have the control on corruption, we don't think about our own people. Who is the militant? You need to understand. He's nobody from other part of our country. who is killing our own people. A militant killed a BJP worker or a PDP worker or any other worker. He's killing his own people. We need to catch hold of that. We need to stop killing of a brother by a brother. We need to put a full stop where we don't have land here now to construct houses, but we have huge acres for the graveyards. Within these years, we have lost so many children, innocent or being brain drained and joined militancy. There is a huge to bring a change. It's just not one thing what we can correct in just few months. The whole system has to be upgraded, reset. We really need to, as you know, we just use our new phone, we put all the new settings. Jammu and Kashmir needs a new setting. And that setting will not be bought by the people who were already doing what they are, and now everybody's aware. For the first time, and I could catch hold of the people who were helping this bloodshed, money laundering. And until unless we will not be able to curtail, cut down the money laundering which is helping to kill their own people. This was for the first time. And I have not seen anybody coming on the road or coming in their favor that why these people were picked and they're still behind bars. And everybody will be questioned. Everybody will be taken to task what they have done to Jammu and Kashmir till now. The changes are there and visible changes are there. You can see, I every day sit in secretariat, civil secretariat, and I meet around 10 to 200, 100 to 200 people in a day. They have a backlog, they have a baggages files pending for 15 years, 20 years. And they make me cry at times how they have suffered for 15, 20 years or more than that. And why they were their own people. They were from their own areas, the MLAs or the ministers. Why their cases were pending? Now BJP has taken over. Now there is a governor. There was a governor rule. Now it's a UT. Now we are looking and we are moving files every day. The pending 20-year file, 30-year files have moved in this scenario. It never moved before. The corruption which was happening to JK Bank, it has helped in so many ways.
Yeah.
The change is visible, and you will definitely see a change where people will come up and tell you that, yes, this is new Kashmir.
Great. Thank you so much for that. So, it's so good that you've given some very tangible, some very tangible data and numbers that we can actually work with and write about and start bringing that also to the forefront of this very just a very contentious argument, I think, that has gone on for the last year, more than that. My next question to you is well, I would say about three parts. So here goes. This is it's a special question that has come from friends of mine who don't, well, who actually had very little connection with the valley, but their families have had, and they were very ruthlessly pretty much thrown out of the valley in the 90s, and are unfortunately now living as refugees in their own nation. So some of them have asked you, what do you see in terms of the return of Kashmiri Pundits, the return of Kashmiri Sardars, the upliftment of the Valmiki community in Kashmir? Will this generation, will they get to see the land that their ancestors and even their parents have been born and raised in?
Kashmiri Pundits are the part of Jammu and Kashmir, and they will always be. The culture of Jammu and Kashmir is incomplete without Kashmiri Pundits. We all welcome with our open arms Kashmiri Pundits, I never call them migrated, I would always call them displaced. They are welcome to a place where they have been born, brought up, they have dreams about same Kashmir, and their dream will be fulfilled very soon. And a lot of steps have been taken. As I said, 170 central laws have been implemented, and that helps, that has a direct impact. What you spoke about, the Valmikis, about their rights, these are the 170 laws which are going to help with all these issues. As I know, I was, I think, quite small. I was in sixth standard when, in 1990, when this thing happened. But I see slowly, I can see change also today, that people are coming back. Now, it is difficult after a decades, few decades, they have settled somewhere, but we want to go back home always. And Government of India, Bharatiya Janata Party, is just standing with them, and they are with the all hope they return.
Great. That is, I think, a lot of people out there would be very happy to know this.
Yes, they should be happy. I'm looking forward myself to be happy once they return, with lot of love. Same, I would say, same love they had with Muslim brothers there. My father was a lawyer. I have not seen any Muslim lawyer or anybody getting invited on Eid to our home. We had almost 50, 60 Kashmiri Pandits who would be invited on Eid. So I want that same thing to happen, same culture to again regrow in Jammu and Kashmir.
That's so nice to know. That's a very, very, very warm thing that you just said. Uh, in conflict zones and when in areas of deep conflict, we see that one of the most vulnerable and targeted parties, during these conflicts are women and children. So, how would you say that the BJP or even yourself, with through your work, have addressed gender issues in this conflict?
I'll tell you, right, Jammu and Kashmir was blessed place where there were never communal gender issues. It is still so secure for any women to go on the road in the middle of the night. We have hardly seen gender issues, but due to this turmoil, there is a woman only who has suffered as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, as a sister. We have thousands and lakhs of half widows. We have orphans. We have girls who have lost their brothers. We have mothers who are still waiting their children to come out from the jails. We have wives who are still not able to understand the husbands are alive or they're dead. The sufferer in Jammu and Kashmir has been tremendously, the effect is on the women folk. There has not been steps taken, even when we were not in the government, for the empowerment of women. And lot many things have been done, which I think our party is like, they don't believe in much publicity. And they do things because the organization I belong to, they believe in work instead of telling it outside what we're doing. So a lot of work has been happening on that level also. We cannot provide government jobs to everybody. You know, I know, the whole country, whole nation knows that it is not the India who is suffering because of the unemployment policy. It is the whole world now. We have just gone through so much. The COVID has again affected us. It is the small schemes, it is the awareness of the Government of India plans. Every nook and corner, every village, not even one single house has been left where they have not reached, where they're not trying to benefit such people. And what I want to put it very upfrontly, we don't have that much orphans in Jammu and Kashmir. The kind of every mohalla we see an orphanage. We are working on that as well. What is the real story behind these orphanages? Because it has again created a little stress to the mothers out there in Jammu and Kashmir. So a lot of things have been happening for women. As myself, I'm a woman. I would prefer that women should be benefited. You are there. Women should be benefited first then, because it has been, man has been always taken control, but now it is reversed. And the girls here, they're doing tremendously good in every field. They're coming up wonderfully. I was really surprised and happy to see in this DDC election, we have so many women who have contested either with a party or with independent. So there is an exposure level. Jammu and Kashmir people, I would say, like they're quite literate. The illiteracy is not that much here. Every parent of Jammu and Kashmir, they invest more on the education of their children, either in the state or outside the rest of the country. You will find every state, you'll find a Kashmiri boy, girl studying in different institutes. So, Shana, it's too early to describe what has been happening to clear the muck for 60 years.
Yeah.
It needs some time. And I'm blessed, I'm happy, I'm honored to be part of an organization where we are cleaning the muck and giving some love and peace to the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes, absolutely. And I think this is the one of the arguments that that I usually make, that it's been over what 6 decades of absolute turmoil, and it can't really go away overnight. The youth in Kashmir are a very, very of the region, right? Many joined militancy with the lure of money, also because of not having employment. And I know that I visited the valley the last for work in 2018, and I was stunned because it wasn't the first time I was visiting. But I remember going to a school, and because that's the organization I was working for was doing some work there, and I saw that the school had Kashmiri Pandit teachers. I was absolutely, I was really happy to see that. But in terms of the youth of the region, how do you say that maybe an that a program like, say, the Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program, how would you say it has directly impacted the youth, and how much do you think it would sort of take them away from the wrong paths that they have been on for so long?
Wonderful. It is absolutely my interest question, Shana, because I've been in Khadi village industry commission before I was working, and now with board. It has been my very close to my heart because Khadi is very close to our Prime Minister. Uh, Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, we have been nominated as a number one nodal agency in whole country. And this was post abrogation. We worked without internet facility. We worked in lockdown. We worked in Corona, Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. We have been given no targets. It's a targetless only place in the whole country. The government of India is telling our youth, you ask, you utilize as much you want. It is a 35% subsidy. And I'm so happy that because of these situation also we didn't stop, because it's everything is online. It's a paperless scheme, and we could still achieve to be number one. That means the funds which are coming from government of India are utilized, have been utilized. Khadi Village Industry Board introduced in previous last November a scheme, Rural Employment Generation Program. It is similar to Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. And we started with 5 crore subsidy amount. We utilized that in 4 months, and it was spoken about this scheme by our Honorable Union Finance Minister, Sita Ramanji. And she gave us 25 crore for this financial year. And till now, we have utilized around 18 crore. Means money has gone to the right people for their work, for their employment. This is how we can, as you know, I've been like telling that our agenda is only for the development, to bring these children, youth, and give them a source to work where they don't get diverted. Everybody in Kashmir is not having that mindset to join militancy. I've always talked about it that people who go, they have something in the mind. Though it was a turmoil, state, there was some kind of a human right violation where he got attracted. Drugs is the reason.
Mm-hmm.
Money is the reason. Human right violation is the reason. So there are a lot of things. The wrong leadership, where I curse my people who were leaders here and people were following them, they are the reason. Otherwise, Kashmiris would not even, I would say like there's a कहावत थी, the whole nation must be listening, that कश्मीरियों के घर में चाकू है भी कि नहीं. They were so scared, people, such a simple, innocent community. And it was crushed. It was a lot of things happen in 60 years. And nobody to hold their own people were not holding their hand, putting them on a right path. So a lot of things had changed. I want to tell you about, I forgot in between, you said the changes, the development. The land registration forms have mopped up to 100 crores. The schemes which were not even aware to any of the Kashmiris here, the Atal Pension Yojana, programs like Back to Village, what every year we are doing, the whole administration goes to the villages and they stay there for weeks and listen to the address to the problems of people. And the authorities just approved projects up to 5 crores in Back to Village. This is a change. It was not happening. The biggest change is like we never would have DDC elections, panchayat elections. So these people would only think that we are in the power, we would not like to share the power. The kind of importance and the power given to the punch, where he can lead, where he can help their own people. It was just the MLA or the minister who was taking care. So there is a reach out to so many people. Anybody can go anywhere for help.
Great, absolutely, absolutely. It's so great to know this. So we've talked about issues, we've talked about areas that are close to your heart. We've talked about so many queries and questions that have come in. People I've spoken to were so excited for this interview. A lot of them are actually working, so unfortunately they couldn't attend, but they're all looking forward to the recording. Everybody wants to see what is happening to the, because so few are actually talking about it. So few are like you from the ruling party are actually getting out there and saying, hey, this is the kind of work that's being done. Let's talk numbers, let's talk data, let's talk the amount of funds that are being disbursed. Let's stop talking about things like internet and things like that, which will in due course of time be stabilized. There are reasons why it has it's being slow, or it has been taken off on some days. This is something that was, these issues are so much bigger and they matter so much more. But having said that, I think since, for in the interest of time, last but not the far from the least, I should have probably opened with this, but I think I left the best for last. um, I think many young women like myself would look up to women leaders as trailblazers who chart the path for the rest of us. I'm sure that there are so many young women out there who will watch this recording and who would love to hear your story, your background, and your journey to being a prominent voice in the politics in one of, not just a prominent voice in politics, but also a voice, such a strong voice in the politics of India, one of, I would say, yeah, in one of India's most challenging regions, which I believe personally is a huge achievement in itself. Um, and somebody like you who's come from, not the kind of backgrounds that we see a lot of other women politicians coming from, where there is already a safe haven, that a cushioned safe haven that they come from. So there's not really a sort of a push that they have to get, or like there's not much that they really need to do, per se. But you are not that woman. You have been a woman who's really pushed the boundaries, has through this interview and even otherwise, as I was reading, it has inspired so many, as you said, so many women candidates in the panchayat election. So could you please tell us a little bit about everything that we've mentioned, your journey, how you got here, and your message to young women out there who would like to enter in this field?
Uh, it was 2013 when I decided to contest 2014 election. So I have been in touch with Congress. I have been in touch with National Conference. Everybody, when you go for a new job, you go to different places, but nothing clicked. Then I met few people in BJP, and the way our Prime Minister was going all over, the change I could see, the vision he had, that had an impact. And then I didn't had a second thought to join BJP. Though a lot of friends, a lot of people told me like it will never be successful. If you contest independent or any regional party, you'll win. And my answer was like, I'm not here to win. I'm here to bring a change. I want that change which I can't see because I'm born in Kashmir. My schooling up to 6 was in Srinagar Convent, then Delhi, then Pune for my medical college. I could not see a normalcy in the air in Jammu and Kashmir. I've been in Jammu and Kashmir for like since 2007. I came back after my education and all. I could not see that peace. I could, when I was even practicing, on every prescription, I could see a person has a pain or patient has a fever. Along with that, he's having a depression, medicine for depression. It was too depressing for me. Why on every prescription I'm seeing a anti-anxiety, antidepressant medicine? So I decided to bring a change within myself first, then where I could bring a change to my people. It was very difficult. It was a roller coaster ride to join Bharatiya Janata Party, to take all the uh, sarcasm, abuses, but I never paid attention towards that. And now I think those are the people who are appreciating my work now. And those are the people who are appreciating party's effect in Jammu and Kashmir. It will take some time for a lotus to bloom completely, fully in Jammu and Kashmir. But we are here for the people. We're not here for ourselves. The women there in the whole nation, my girls and daughters, my sisters in Jammu and Kashmir, you have a lot of potential. You can, every woman has a potential. We look after our children, we look after our families. We are better than men to look after our state, country, nation. We are the epitome of sacrifice and faithfulness. So I believe we all have that. You just need to bring it out. You just need to know yourself, your capability, your potential, and you can do best for your children. Children here, I mean, the children, the nation, my people, my Kashmiris. Here, so much has happened in decades, which we just cannot scrap off, we cannot rub it. But we need a lot of healing with love and honesty for our own people. when every women, lot women are coming up. If they have this idea, I think the Kashmir will have a different feeling again what we had 60 years before. The same love, passion for everybody, for humanity.
Great. I really appreciate that for sure, and I'm sure this message is going to reach many people. And so many young women would be absolutely inspired by your journey. It's always tougher, right, for us. It's always there's everybody's struggle, and then there's this special women's struggle, right, which is like
Yeah.
add a whole lot more. Yeah.
I think
So
I think every woman has their own story and struggle in everything. It's like how we go stronger through that struggle. More people are there to pull you down, especially women in every field. But we grow stronger. We bounce
absolutely.
back more strongly.
Absolutely. And I'm also happy to know on a very personal note that you did your college in Pune, which is my city.
Oh,
So,
lovely.
yes, where did
Diva
you?
Patil. Diva
Diva.
Patil.
Okay, great, great, great. Amazing. So this has been really great, but unfortunately, at the interest of time, and I'm sure you have a jam-packed day as well. Um, Thank you so much for joining us, Hina ji. We at the Usanas Foundation, always strive to, bring out a balanced view to our viewers, to our readers in every aspect of international relations, geopolitics, and everything that is going on around these areas. So I'm extremely thankful that you came out here and gave us a viewpoint that very few have out there, honestly. And we are hoping that such balanced views do come out, and people get a very clear and real idea of what is going on in a region in this country that is beloved to so many. So thank you so much, and I would, special thanks to your to everybody in your office who coordinated this. And we hope to have many sessions like this with you, and hopefully, God willing, we should meet very soon.
Very
Uh,
soon.
once
Looking
circumstances.
forward.
Yes, likewise, likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you.